not a drill. Remnant 2 is back, baby. DLC 3 is inbound. Big changes are coming. Woohoo! Hello everyone, hope you're all having a wonderful day. And today, guys, we're going to be going over some pretty juicy Remnant 2 news about the upcoming third DLC and also the massive free content update that we'll be releasing side by side with the new Narude DLC, which drops next week, boys. Next friggin' week, September the 24th is when all of this is going to be coming out, next week on Tuesday. And to put it lightly, after reading some of these changes that are going to be implemented when this DLC does drop, I metaphorically blew a load everywhere. Literally everywhere. Kind of like when Randy from South Park got deprived of internet porn for too long.
There was a ghost!
That was me reading these goddamn changes, because boy did these devs cook. So I know I'm a little late to the party here. A lot of this information came out about 3 days ago, thanks to the big chief himself, Tragic, over on Twitter, spilling all the beans about what's to come in the new update next week. But there are still some things I haven't seen many people talk about, so I wanted to just quickly highlight some absolutely insane changes that are going to be coming to Remnant in next week's DLC update. Alright, so let's not muck around any longer with this intro, let's jump straight into it. I'm sure you probably have seen by now that the relic fragment system that we did have inside Remnant is getting completely reworked to be the new Prism system. Now this seems really cool. I'm still very unfamiliar with how this is all going to work. I'm still trying to dissect this information myself. I'm pretty sure all these are still going to be relatively similar passive upgrades that we did have with our relic fragment. It's just going to be expanded on, I think, with this new prison system. Again, I'm not sure if anyone knows how it's actually going to work, but I think maybe you have like the crystal, which is in the middle there, and you kind of put the fragments on it, and it makes like a prism or a crystal, and then that crystal gives you like an overall character buff. Who knows how it's actually going to work? So it's just an endless grind that is kind of getting added into the game for all the long-term fans, or for anyone that just wants to jump back on Remnant whenever they feel the urge to play Remnant, and then they still have something to actually progress their character, which is really cool. I think a lot of people have been asking for this. And they even referenced it themselves, I think, in the blog post, saying that they wanted like a badass system, kind of like Borderlands. Borderlands had like the badass ranks. This is Remnant's take on the badass ranks from Borderlands, I think. So that's going to be pretty cool to see how this plays out. And it's going to be interesting to see how the power creep is as well. Like, how strong can you actually make a character now? I'd be very interested to see. Now, another thing with the prisms, and it's one thing I haven't seen too many people talk about, is apparently there's going to be legendary prism combinations. Again, have absolutely friggin' no idea what that actually means. But when you start looking at some of these legendary prism combinations or upgrades, holy shit. Wow. Some of these are kind of nutty, like actually broken. So this lovely person on Reddit has just listed a few here. And then also want to show you the PC Gamer blog post where they also mentioned some other legendary prism combinations. And man, build diversity is going to be very, very interesting with some of these fucking upgrades, dude. Okay, so just to sound off a few, we have increased relic charges by 100%. Woo! That's going to probably be really good for the new boss rush gauntlet roguelite survival mode that they're adding in. Increased concoction limit by 5. You're probably going to be able to use every concoction if you're using alchemist. Increased dodge weight threshold by 100. That's fantastic. Also makes me think that they might be adding heavier armor in. Hopefully, fingers crossed, boys. Half all cheat death mechanic timers. I actually have no idea what that means, to tell you the truth. Grey health cannot be removed. This seems really good to maybe further improve the grey health build. Evade. Every evade triggers perfect dodge. This sounds interesting. All those perfect dodge rings and just anything that can proc off perfect dodge, you're just going to evade and you're going to actually activate that. So that might be a really, really fun one to play around with. And then the next one that is very interesting is double mod charges. Yes, you're reading that correctly. Double mod charges. Like, if they better be nerfing like mod damage or something, otherwise you're going to delete the game. So PC Gamer further, add some more information. So here, prisms also have a legendary segment, which you can add from a random selection of 3 to a prism. once it hits its capstone. There are over 40, there you go, over 40 legendary segments. There's one that fills your core traits, that essentially increases your traits by 40. That's pretty cool, actually. There's one that gives you prime perk of both classes. That is actually ridiculous. The build diversity with being able to take both prime perks is, yeah, that is crazy. And then there's also one that gives you infinite stam, dude. Like, woo! Woo, man. We are going to be very strong when this patch comes out. And I really do think this is the last, I think this is the last DLC for Remnant 2. And I think most of the devs are going to be moving on to like Darksiders and obviously maybe Remnant 3. So I think this is kind of like a fuck it, let's ball type play from the devs, where they're just giving you all this really fun, overpowered stuff where you can just go through and just absolutely clear the game very easily. And who knows, maybe the boss rush might be really tough, especially like Gauntlet with like 19 bosses, not getting any of your relic charges back. Hey, maybe some of these crazy upgrades, might not seem so crazy when you go on through the Gauntlet, but all is yet to be seen. But either way, some of these changes are friggin' ridiculous, man. Absolutely fucking nutty. So the next thing you've probably all seen as well, it came under a lot of scrutiny straight away because of the word boss rush, but there is a boss rush coming in Remnant 2. And to be fair, I would have just been happy with a boss rush. I would have been fine. It makes my life easy getting clips for build videos and stuff. But it seems to be a little bit more than just boss rush. I hate how I have to lean over here. I got a bit of a scuff set up right now. But you can see Tragic here on Twitter. He put out a massive thread just explaining how everything works, like the power pylons, how you're going to be fighting aberrations. It's going to be like dungeon, mini-boss, dungeon, mini-boss, dungeon, world boss, trial by fire in the Gauntlet. You're going to be fighting Annihilation at the end. Some really cool insight to how boss rush and everything is actually going to work. But it also does have a lot of roguelike elements as well, where you just don't have any health charges, you don't get any relic charges, you have to actually search for them. I think that's a really cool feature that's just gonna maybe make your cheeks a little bit greasier when you start chugging down relics and you start running out and you can't find any more. Depending on how scarce they are, it could be a good thing or a bad thing, but I really do like that you're not just going to have your max amount of relic charges. You're going to have to search for them. And of course, the main thing that everyone cares about when doing a boss rush or something like this is, are we going to get rewarded? Are we going to get rewarded? And Gunfire Games said, hell fucking yeah, you're going to get rewarded. Not only are you going to get Luminite, Corrupt Luminite, Simulacrum, I fucking hate trying to say that word, Iron Scrap, and of course XP. You'll also be getting Corrupted Shards. Yes! Oh my god, I actually despise trying to run through and get aberrations to spawn to get Corrupted Shards. It's probably the least exciting thing to try and do in Remnant. So the fact that you're just gonna, when you defeat the world boss, you will get a Corrupted Shard, whether you win or fail. That's cool. So just getting there, you're going to get a Corrupted Shard, which is absolutely fantastic. You're going to unlock all those Corrupted weapons a lot quicker. There's still some that I haven't even unlocked because I just really couldn't be bothered doing that grind, man. Getting 10 Corrupted Shards is quite tedious. So this is going to mitigate a lot of that, which I think a lot of people are going to be very happy about it. Me included. Tragic goes into a lot of other stuff here where you're going to be able to get item drops if you haven't got these certain items. I highly recommend you guys just read this yourself. Again, I don't want to sit here and read it all out. We'll be here all friggin' day and we don't want that. So the boss rush screen is going to be, you're going to have three kind of game modes to go into. You got Triple Threat, Trial by Fire, and the Gauntlet. I think Triple Threat is just 3 bosses, Trial by Fire is 7, and then the Gauntlet is like 19, something ridiculous. The Gauntlet really tickles my pickle. I'm excited to get into Apocalypse Gauntlet and see how challenging it actually is. So we're going to move over to Legacy Gaming's video. Massive shout out to them. They do amazing gaming news. Go and check them out if you haven't. I will be sampling some things from their video. Hopefully, they don't mind. They did get their hands on the new DLC, so they've gotten a first look before everybody else, and they are kind of showcasing a bit of that first look for us. One thing I wanted to show you guys from their video is the new glider system, and they do go over and explain this. Again, go check out that video if you want a more in-depth explanation, but it is cool to see that we're going to have this new traversal method with a glider in this crazy big open world kind of map size that is this new DLC, which is going to be very exciting to explore. It seems like there's probably going to be heaps of like secrets just literally in plain sight, but you're probably not going to know how you get there. very much like maybe the Elden Ring DLC. This glider looks really cool. I'll go ahead and play it again for you guys. I think this is badass, the fact that we actually have a traversal traversal method. They do show off a boss here. I think this was kind of in the reveal trailer anyway, like the big spider machine thing, which this looks creepy and badass at the same time. Really cool looking boss. I mean, the new melee weapon, this like Nerudian scythe, and weirdly enough, it kind of looks like it's going to be a shock scythe, which we already have a lot of shock melee weapons, so unless it's got like a really cool effect, I feel like that might be a little disappointing. Just me personally, would have been cool to see like another element weapon get added in, but I suppose it is Naruto. It makes sense that it is lightning element because of space and shit. So if you do want to watch more of the boss rush and see all the pylons and maybe some of the upgrades and the new archetype in action, I highly recommend you go check out Legacy Gaming. I will put a pinned comment with the link to this video down in the comment section so you guys can just find it easier. I don't want to reveal everything that they showed in their video. I'd rather you go over and check out their video because, hey, when people view your video, that's what brings home the bacon. And then the last thing I do want to show you guys is the fact that we are getting a loot filter in the game. And there is actually a video that I think Tragic himself probably posted over on his Twitter. And it looks great. This is, again, another thing that people have been asking for so long, that we need a loot filter because these rings are getting seriously bloated. I mean, look how good that is. That is fucking crispy. That is crispy fresh. That you're gonna have every single like kind of category that is in Remnant. You got all damage, range, fire rate, firearm, melee, mod, skill, blah blah blah. You know, you get the point. All of the subcategories of the rings are going to be having filters, and then you just click on whatever filters you want and it's going to show those rings and amulets for you. So say if you're putting together like a mod skill build, you can click on mod, skill, all damage, and then you'll just filter those rings to then make it easier to put your build together. This is going to be very streamlined. I think a lot of people are very happy that this is finally getting added into the game. So all these changes are absolutely phenomenal. So many W's across the board. I mean, again, we're going to have to get our hands on it first, and then I'm sure, you know, problems might arise. But just reading everything, looking at all the information, seeing what Tragic is kind of like drip fed to us, this seems really fucking solid. Like, they are just going all out for their last DLC. It really does seem like they have saved the best for last. So I'm very excited for next week, Tuesday, when we can get our hands on this and we can start fucking going hog wild on the build, and also the boss rush and the new DLC, checking out the archetype and seeing all the new items that the dev team did add in. So very high. So I'm super excited for the DLC. And also let me know down in the comment section below, are you guys also excited for the new Remnant 2 DLC and the big update to drop next week? I'm very keen to hear your guys' thoughts. I appreciate all the love and support as always, guys. And until next week, stay safe. Peace out.